Thank you. Thank you very much. I thought that was you. Thank you very much. Great job you're doing. And a friend of mine, Eduardo Bolsonaro of Brazil.
Dude.
The Chamber of Deputies.
It's really cool that it is virtually all of the worst people on the planet. It's awesome. Like, if you're just a bad guy, if you suck, if you're just a bad person who sucks, okay, Donald Trump likes you, and you're a part of the network.
Thank you.
Isn't Bolsonaro going to jail?
He's going to be happy.
He's talking about
nice.
He's not talking about Javier.
We love our first lady.
He's talking about one of the sons, I think,
incredible
right?
supporters here today. We're going to forge a new and lasting political majority that will drive American politics for generations to come. I think we're going to do fantastically well in the midterms. You know, in theory, the one that wins the
Javier, Jair, sorry.
But I think this is going to be a change.
I said Javier. That was a racism moment for me. I apologize.
A bigger, better, stronger party than ever before.
I'm sorry.
More people in our party than ever before. But the people have given us a resounding mandate
one of them, Jose,
change in Washington.
Jose,
and we're going to deliver
Bolsonaro.
It, and we're going to make America great again by using it. So it's going to be something. But think of it, at the presidential level, we won the popular vote by millions and millions of votes. We swept all 7 swing states: Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, all by great margins. We won 85% of all of the counties in America. That means that map was red. Did you ever see the map? Did you see the certified map? Where is it? I want to see a certified map.
Yeah, you won. Do something about inflation, red. Trump. You can't. No. Dude, he's got way more things to tackle, okay? Inflation, excuse me, that's a patriotic price increase, okay? What is important is dismantling the federal government, okay? So that our corporate oligarchs can make even higher returns on their investment. Their quarterly earnings will skyrocket.
Too big to rig.
He has to make sure that the 10 trans people that are like doing shot put or whatever can no longer participate in any athletic endeavor. Okay, that's what the most significant agenda item is. Okay, for this goddamn administration.
Americans. We want all of the cities and towns along the Texas
That's why
border,
I titled today
the
W's of the burger right, because so many W's. It's W's galore, ladies and gentlemen. W's galore.
President,
so much is happening, so much winning. You're going to say, Mr. President, we never want to win again.
I said, oh, is that good? He said, it hasn't happened since Reconstruction. I said, define Reconstruction for me. He said, that means essentially the Civil War. That's a long.
He said, define Reconstruction for me. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that historical time frame is. I just have no understanding. I don't know anything.
Hardworking citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. And I think one of the main reasons, not that we're conservative or not that we're anything else, we are the party of common sense. It's about common sense, right? It's all about common sense. Over the past month, we've confirmed an all-star team of warriors, patriots, visionaries, and put the America First agenda into action. I see Doug Burgum sitting right over there. I tell you, he was so good. I looked at him. I said, I got to have him here. I got to have him. He was a great governor. He's involved with a little thing called energy. He's got the Department of Interior, and Chris Wright has the Department of Energy. So Chris has no energy, and Doug has all of the energy. Chris has more interior, but he doesn't have. So I merged them. So now you have an energy guy, and you have the guy with all the energy, and you're going to drill, baby, drill, aren't you, huh? Drill, baby, drill. And Catherine, stand up. His wife is incredible. She is such an incredible woman. Incredible woman. You got very lucky, Doug. good to be successful, isn't it, Doc? She's an incredible woman. He's an incredible guy. In addition to the great cabinet secretaries we have here today, we confirm Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth to end the woke insanity and rebuild our military. Pete is fantastic. Thank you. To stop the weaponization of federal law enforcement, I know about that, I think, better than any human being on earth. This week, we swore in a new director of the FBI, somebody that everybody wanted, Kash Patel.
Dude, Kash Patel is such a funny person to put in charge of the FBI. Just a truly insane guy. I haven't even fully talked about the Kash Patel stuff because, like, the vibes are so fucked. The optics are so bad. Just legitimately an insane person to put in charge of the FBI. I don't know where we're going in this next chapter of the American Empire's American Empire's final chapter is going to be an objectively weird
Health
one.
and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
He's a published children's book author, I know, and he also has the worst merch of all time, and literally a QAnon guy. I cannot comprehend how we got to a point where, unironically, a 4chan op, okay, just a totally made-up 4chan thing, broke the minds of enough boomers in the Republican base that now you got loyal supporters of this insanity leading the FBI. Fantastic stuff. Let's see where we go from here.
Oh, it's 1 in 36 babies have autism. 1 in 36.
Oh, he's doing an autism.
20,000.
Yeah, vaccines make children autistic.
36. There's something wrong. Something's wrong, and Bobby is going to find it. Working with Dr. Oz, by the way. Working with Dr. Oz. Together, we've achieved more in 4 weeks than most administrations achieve in 4 years. We made a lot of progress. I heard O'Reilly last night say Donald Trump, for the first 4 weeks, is the greatest president ever in the history of our country. That was O'Reilly. Bill O'Reilly is all right. You know who he said second was? George Washington. That's not bad. I beat George Washington. I love beating George Washington. Thank you, Bill. On our first day in office, we declared a national emergency at our southern border. After years of politicians using our military to defend foreign borders while leaving our country defenseless and helpless, we deployed a group of people, active duty troops, to defend our border and repel the invasion of our country. This was an invasion. You know, we had a great first term, a really great first term, and I called it an invasion. And we had great numbers, but now we have the best numbers we've ever had. We've never had numbers like this. We've done it all in 4 weeks. Think of it. That was Tom Homan, Kristi Noem, the whole group. On day one, I ended the catch and release. I reinstated remain in Mexico, and I signed an order that will end birthright citizenship for the children of illegal aliens. Because it wasn't meant for these children. It wasn't meant for people that escaped or invaded, came into our country illegally. It was meant for the children of slaves. Because when it was done, many, many years ago, it was during a very tough period in this country's history, and that was meant for the children of slaves. I wish people would understand that so they could get this thing approved, and we don't have millions and millions of people coming into our country and they shouldn't be here. This week, I also canceled temporary protected status for migrants from Haiti.
Fact check, please. No, he's not wrong. I mean, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. This is one of those things where, guys, I think you guys are forgetting that Donald Trump still does have, like, competent, intelligent people in his orbit. He knows how to repeat certain terms and certain historically accurate statements. It still doesn't change the the reality, but you know, historically, what he's talking about is correct. He's using something that is historically accurate or an interpretation of history in an effort to turn around and undermine something that has been time and time again defended in terms of its I guess I was about to use the term super precedent, but it doesn't really matter anymore because so was Roe v. Wade.
I'll bet nobody knows her last name. Nobody ever knows her last name. Even during the campaign, you'd have to say Kamala. It's strange, you know, a little different name. Kamala.
Yeah. Also, destroying birthright is not appropriate in any way, shape, or form. It's like one of the only good things about this goddamn country. God, we're destroying everything that is good. Whatever remains about the United States of America that was kind of good, we're just going to dismantle. What's next? You have the right to retain a lawyer. Gone. Okay.
How to beat two? We beat two. I didn't beat. You beat.
Literally, like, there are very few things. There are very few things that make America stand out. Okay, and unironically are good. You finally admitted there's something good about America. If you've been in here long enough, you've heard me say this all the time. I think freedom of speech and freedom of press is good. Okay, in both principle, not unfortunately in its application in America, it's always been one-sided. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. Okay, it's a good thing. Same goes for the right to be able to retain an attorney no matter what, and that the state can provide you one if you don't have the finances to be able to retain an attorney on your own. That's a good thing, okay? Like, due process, good, very good. Cutie said pack gloves, pack a hat and gloves. She wants to film the pod outside. Yeah, that's fine. I got it. They aren't even specific to America, just general liberal principles that are widely accepted across the West. No, but a lot of other Western liberal countries sometimes have weirdly worse rules around this sort of thing. Birthright is unironically one of the best parts of American society. It's like America's interpretation of immigrants. Like understanding that we are a nation of immigrants is literally one of the best aspects. That is straightforwardly one of the best parts of the United States of America. It is what has made the United States of America maintain its dominance. Okay?
A young lady who's right now going for the Department of Labor, and she tends to be a little bit on the slightly left of center. And everybody said, why did I do that? I said, you know why I did that? Because unions like her and labor likes her and a lot of people like her, and she's very solid, very strong, and she's going to do the right thing. But they
why is the audio so low?
They didn't vote for me. They voted for us. We got the Teamsters. We got the firefighters. We got the police. We got the auto workers. We're so great. We had tremendous support. So I think it's nice to give them a person in the center, because that's what she's going to be very good, I think. But a lot of people say, why'd you do that? I said, because I want to do something nice for these people that voted for me. Oh, gee, what a great political move that was. Now they're all saying, what a great political move. No, it's all common sense. Remember that. Remember that. Sean O'Brien was fantastic.
For the birthright citizenship to be removed, the Supreme Court would have to rule that the Constitution is unconstitutional.
We've begun the largest deportation operation in American history, larger even than that of President Dwight D. Eisenhower, a very moderate man, but he was very strong on that. He didn't like people running into our country and taking over our country. I'll tell you, I had 4 years. I don't know if you had this. I couldn't stand it. Don't get angry. Donald, don't get angry, please. I couldn't stand it. What? Watching these people come in from jails and mental institutions and the worst criminals in the street, gang members being dropped off in buses.
We got a new Donald, a rare Donald.
Into our country. I couldn't stand it.
Let's go. New rare
so I said,
Donaldism.
I'm going to run for president again. And now we don't have that problem. Now we don't have that problem anymore.
He's amping up the rhetoric? No, he's not. He ran on this straight up.
We don't have that problem anymore. We now have the best border we've ever had. And by the way, if they can ever find my world's favorite chart ever in history, I'll show you what it was when I left. And now it's even slightly better. Can you drop that chart, do you think? I don't know. I never tell them about this, but they used to drop it like magic. If they can, they'll drop it. Who the hell knows? But it's my favorite chart. My favorite chart in history. We're liberating communities like Aurora, Colorado, and Springfield, Ohio, that have been occupied by illegal alien criminals from all over the world. We're rescuing the Americans whose jobs have been stolen, whose wages have been robbed, and whose way of life has been absolutely destroyed. And under the Trump administration, our country will not be turned into a dumping ground. We're not going to do it. We're going to have a great country again. It's going to happen soon, a lot sooner than you think, and we're going to have so much money coming in from tariffs. Oh, you're going to say, your senators and your congressmen are going to say, please, sir, please. You're making us look so bad. We have so much money coming in. I didn't know this was going to happen. Please don't do this to us. We look very bad. But they're great. They're doing well. I tell you, the Republican senators they're sticking together. The Republican congressmen and women are sticking together. Every once in a while, you have one that wants a little action or something. I don't know what it is. It's so sad to see. I just hate to see it. I hate to see it, but they're sticking together. One thing about the Democrats, they have rotten, horrible policy, the worst policy in history, but they stick together. We have great policy, but sometimes they don't stick, but they've been sticking for us. They've been sticking. And I think the speaker and the leader have done a fantastic job. That's Thune and Johnson, and I think they've done, two guys really working hard and they're really doing a great job. But we have a lot to stick with. We have a lot to stick together for, because what we've done has never been done before. Nobody's ever seen anything like this, and nobody's ever seen 4 weeks like we've had, especially the 4 weeks, the first 4 weeks. You know, that's like if you golf, when you sink that first 4-footer in the first hole, it gives you confidence on the next hole. You sink another one. Now you go into that third hole and you can't, and by the time you get to the fifth hole, you feel you can't miss, right? Like a baseball player, he gets up and he hits our first one, and then the second at bat, he hits that one. And, you know, and we have great confidence, and they've lost their confidence, as I said.
I think it's cool that we just now live in a totally separate universe. I know I've done this thing where we'll look at like Asmongold's chat while he's watching, you know, like a video game stream, and how predictably they start spamming DEI. But I'm truly fascinated with the other side of America at this point, where Donald Trump, a New York real estate billionaire fail-son, rambles on and on about golf during a historic period of inflation, okay, after, you know, defeating the Democratic Party due to the cost of living crisis and how he said he was going to fix it, only to seemingly make it worse with a lot of the insane actions they've taken so far in dismantling the administrative state, okay? And we're over here watching him ramble on and on about fucking golfing, and I'm wondering, like, how do people who like this respond to what they are seeing? I want to see this. I want to see. Hold on. Let me see. Let me see if I can. Is this the correct one? No, it's not. No. I want to see the more. I'm morbidly curious about it.
Crooked Joe Biden. What do we like better,
what the fuck
Crooked
is
Joe
Asmongold's
or
username?
Sleepy Joe? Ready? Ready? Crooked Joe or Sleepy? Ready? Crooked Joe.
Like, what is the reaction
Joe.
to it? Like, what are they?
Got to stay with crooked. He had one ability that I didn't have. He could do something that I couldn't do. I don't say that because he was a horrible golfer. Remember, he challenged me during the debate to a golf match? He said, I'm a 6 handicap. I said, you're not a 36 handicap. He said he's a 6. And then he said, well, I'm 8. Remember?
Sleepy is way better. Definitely Sleepy. Like, are they just reacting to like how funny Trump is or something?
He's not a 36
I suspect that
but he
that's
had
what
one
it
ability
is,
that
right?
was amazing. He could go with cameras on him, television, fake news on him, probably because he knows they wouldn't cover it badly.
Crooked Hillary.
As well as you can cover him.
There's there's a couple people in there
but he had
being
this
like, hey,
incredible
man.
ability. He could barely walk in the sand. Somebody thought he looked great in a bathing suit.
There's a couple people in there being
pulling a thing that weighed about 6 ounces.
Them,
you know those aluminum? See, aluminum's very good. You can it's meant for children and very old people to lift, right? So
actual stand-up comedian.
Put it down, and he'd put it down, and he'd fall into it, and he'd immediately fall asleep in front of the media. I could never do that.
Hasan running out of content and has to stalk other streamers' chats. This is not even a stalking of other streamers' chats. This is a very active. I want to know how the other side operates online, especially because I know conservatives in the real world, but I wish I could but I want to understand how conservatives in the online sphere, especially the sphere that we're in on Twitch, like what their takeaway is. This is basically an anthropological study at this stage. Okay. Do you not want to know? Are you not interested? I'm genuinely interested. This is not to like disparage people. I'm not trying to like dunk on Asmongold or his chat or anything like that. I just want to understand what their takeaway is from a speech like this one. You know?
It's true.
I do also despise the chat hoppers that instantly went over there to fucking be annoying. So I'm going to probably shut this off.
That's true. Now Franklin Graham's angry at me.
People can't help themselves.
You know
they
that Franklin wrote me a letter. He said, "I love
shitheads.
your speeches. I love them. I love them so much.
You're ruining my
it'd be
data.
better if you would never use foul language." And I told him, I said, Franklin, Franklin Graham's a great guy, by the way, does a great job. The son of the great Billy Graham, right? But I said to Franklin, sometimes you need it for emphasis. And he said, no, they'd be even better if you wouldn't use any bad language. That's not really a terrible word, But that's a much more appropriate word, a better. What word would I use to describe? What word could I use? It's and we have to be truthful too. So
if you can't understand what people like about Donald Trump, you'll never be able to approach them and talk to them where they're at. Okay, that's what I believe, 100%.
But they said that during the Biden administration. They never said it during my administration. Venezuela's taking them back. They're all Colombia's
like most, and from what I see at a cursory glance, most of the takeaway is that they just find it incredibly entertaining. This is cinema truthful. Bro's bringing back The Apprentice. Like, why would you better routine than most comedians, lol? I think that's what it is. A lot of people despise the Democratic Party for understandable reasons, and some of them despise the Democratic Party for lame reasons, but I think the output is still the same. He's dunking on the Dems in the way that these guys are approaching the subject. They're looking at this and they're going, oh, he's shitting on my enemies, the Dems, the liberal elite.
Biden didn't want to do, and nobody wanted to do. It's true.
Like,
the
look,
full might and power of the federal government
best speech
now
I've ever seen.
Dedicated to eradicating MS-13, Tren de Aragua. That's the Venezuelan prison gangs. These are very nice fellows. The only thing good about them is they make our criminals look like nice people. It's true. Remember when they used to say, people that
say
come
what you
in
want about the dude he's spitting
are nice people. These are wonderful people. These are good people. They're not murderers. They're not terrible. These people make us look like babies. Okay?
I mean, we hate the Democrats here as well, for the most part.
Nicest people on earth
but
when you compare them to these thugs.
I think the reasons as to why they hate the Democrats are very different than the reasons as to why we hate the Democrats. I think I would go so far as to say that my reasons for hating politicians across the board is pretty valid.
States will be hunted down. I'm talking about MS-13. They're hunting them down. We removed.
He tells people what they want to hear. I don't even know if this is what people want to hear.
Rooted out, arrested, and expelled from our soil like the savage monsters that they are. We don't have anybody coming up from Argentina. Nobody's
look at
coming
this.
up
Hell's
from
Angels
Argentina
recruiting about the skyrocket.
to
Like, this is a
facilitate
conservative.
the mass removal of criminal aliens. I also
This is a totally made up conservative meta where they think like the Hell's Angels. If you want to understand like conservative consciousness, they think the Hell's Angels are like good guys, right? They're like our American biker gangs because there's like a lot of television series about this shit. So they unironically think like a lot of older conservatives, and I'm surprised to see this like online as well. 99% biker gang, hunt them, like slay, we hunting you down, daddy. Like all of this stuff, all of this stuff. Wait, did someone say Will Stancil? Why the fuck does this person even? It's shocking that an Asmongold chatter would know who Will Stancil is. But basically, there's this like conservative meta where they think that like where they think that like Hell's Angels are like the defenders of America against like the big bad undocumented migrant groups that are doing crime.
Yes, I terminated the Green New Scam. One of the greatest hoaxes ever played on this country is the Green New Scam. We spent trillions of dollars on this nonsense, and just a total hoax. It really set back our country, I want to tell you, monetarily and every other way. And I canceled Joe Biden's insane electric vehicle mandate where everybody has to have an electric.
Yeah, that's real. That's definitely.
And if you want an electric car, get an electric car. If you want a gasoline-powered car, if you want to have a hybrid, you get it. The only thing
like
you can't
corrupt green
do is
new
a hydrogen
scam. Climate change is a hoax? Question mark.
They said it really works great, but when it doesn't
Global
work,
warming
you
isn't
never
real,
find the body.
Kona. I guess like the younger chatters probably
That's a bad
believe
sign.
global
when
warming.
it doesn't work, they found the body on a tree about 250 yards up the road. It's seriously bad. So we'll leave hydrogen out of it for a little while, I think, or maybe permanently. I'd say permanently. To crush inflation by slashing spending, I imposed an immediate federal hiring freeze, a federal regulation freeze, and a foreign aid freeze. We're given
for the people who ask, how do we reach these guys? How do we reach the right wing and change their minds? It's pretty simple. You just have to wait because inevitably Donald Trump's actions are going to harm them directly. And in that moment where they recognize that harm, there's only two ways out of it. Either they double down and engage in cultish behavior and engage in cultish thinking, and many will, or someone approaches them with a helping hand, okay? Someone approaches them with a helping hand and says, like, you want to know who the real people are that's fucking you over? It's all of Trump's allies, all these rich people, okay? The issue, however, is that there is no competent Democratic Party right now that is actively doing that, because they also have the same exact corporate benefactors. Like, Democrats love the rich guys as well. So they can't actually launch or mount any sort of significant opposition from a true populist perspective.
$1 billion, $520 million. You know, when
and without that,
take advantage of me, it's a horrible thing to watch. And I give them.
Without that, this is truly an opportunity. This is truly an opportune moment in all of this crisis. Okay, I think that in this moment of crisis, where Americans will recognize that even under the Trump leadership, their lives haven't gotten better, because you can't fix that. Like, lies will not change the fact that you're still struggling. Lies and your attention being laser focused on trans people or Guatemalan migrants or whatever won't change the reality that you're having issues with paying rent still. but Trump is now president, and he said everything was going to get better, but it's not happening. Now, in that circumstance, if you don't have a competent party that uses that to correctly change people's attention, to correctly shift people's attentions and priorities back to the real centers of pain, billionaires, the oligarchy, corporations, okay, and utilize true left-wing economic populist messaging and actively try to push for an agenda that will radically change the trajectory of American empire and radically change the trajectory of the United States, these people are just simply going to double down. They're going to get more angry and more resentful. And they're going to think, oh, the problem is we just simply haven't killed enough Guatemalans. You know what I mean? We simply haven't done enough deportations. Why haven't we done enough deportations? Well, because we haven't done enough deportations because the Democrats are probably stopping us from doing all the deportations. Or we simply have to up the ante. We simply have to be even more violent, right? That's what I fear. I fear that in this moment of crisis, okay? What? I asked a questionable trans people and they made some incredible arguments. Your Discord is amazing. What are you saying? I just shut up. I have no idea what you're trying to say, okay? In this moment of crisis, there's only one figure that I've seen on the Democratic Party side that has, which is ironically, he's an independent technically, but Bernie Sanders is the only person I've seen that is like aligned with the Democrats that has been actively trying to tackle this issue. And I don't even agree with most of his foreign policy, but it doesn't matter. Okay, on the issue of domestic affairs, like he's actively trying to tackle it. And it seems like he's garnering a lot of support and a lot of attention. And yet, the Democrats are still avoiding that reality. They're still refusing to take a look at what's going on here. Look, Face Shocker says, I've helped Bernie Sanders for years pulling together his political events. Today is the first in many ways. We had two different large overflow crowds in Iowa City. One of the overflows was so large that it was bigger than the original theater he came to speak at. Like, it is obvious that a lot of people, and these are older people. These are older white Democrats. Older white Democrats at the heart of the Democratic Party's base of voters are unironically looking at the situation and thinking, okay, something's got to change. Okay? This much enthusiasm with 1 degree wind chill temperatures while every other politician in America is getting tomatoes thrown at them anytime they're in public. Look, it's not too late, but you need to stop listening to the people who told you this guy's movement was the wrong way. Like, it's obvious. This is real. This is a very real thing.
Over 110 years. 3.47 million people who are over 120 years of age. 3.9 million.
No, I'm not saying Bernie as the figure is the reason why he's drawing these crowds. I mean, yes, his track record plays a role in this. His favorables play a role in this. But it's not just Bernie. It's the fact that his message is being broadly received as a positive, even from the ranks of the Democratic Party's base of support, like their most loyal base of support. And it's not just his message, it's also his earnest delivery, because he has, regardless of the insane amount of attacks that he's received throughout his career, he has stayed the course. Okay? Bernie ain't too old if he's walking and talking just fine. I mean, come on, guys. He's 90. Like, that's crazy. He's 90 years old. I'll still vote for him. I don't care. But, like, let's be real. Okay?
And we have one person listed at 360 years of age an all-time record, and our country's 250 years old.
Older than the
So that
USA.
person's
This
substantially
punchline-
older than our country. Under our administration, there will be no tolerance for Social Security fraud. We will not allow anyone to cheat our seniors, and those who will do that
They
will
love
be
this
prosecuted by Pam Bondi and others.
I think a lot of people just love this shit. They just look at this and they go, "This is amazing." Like, there's a guy in there that said, "People need to understand. You guys need to understand how much he accomplished in his first term and got zero credit / publicity for. He's clearly making a prioritization to talk about his efforts and accomplishments this time
See if
around."
the gold
Wait,
is
what is
still
he saying?
there.
Oh, I thought he was responding. Why won't he form the Labor Party with some strong caretakers to go forward after? I hear HasanAbi is a slave to his chat. Yes, I am. I'm enslaved by my chat. That's why I always yell at my chat. And I let, unlike other people, I let you chat in here as long as you followed for 10 minutes. You don't even have to pay for a subscription. And yet people still subscribe for $6 or for free with a Twitch Prime, of course.
Open the door, we'll say,
And
"There's
even
nothing
give
here.
subs.
They stole this too. No, we have.
I don't even
very
have a
corrupt
subscriber-only
people
chat.
in this country. We're finding them out. We're removing all of the unnecessary, incompetent, and corrupt bureaucrats from the federal workforce. That's what we're doing. And under the buyouts, we offered federal
Virtual
employees
meal.
more
Thank you for
than
the 20 gifted subs. Inked in blood.
Federal bureaucrats. Think of that.
Travacall. Thank you for the 5 gifted
voluntarily
subs.
agreed to surrender their taxpayer-funded jobs. We want to make government smaller, more efficient. We want to keep the best people, and we're not going to keep the worst people. And we're doing another thing. If they don't report for work, we're firing them. In other words, you have to go to office. Right? Right? Look at her.
What happened at the top of the hour ad breaks, by the way?
If you don't
My
report to work,
contract ended.
That's
So
another scam.
I no longer run any ads.
Who the hell, if I'm staying home, let's see, my golf handicap would get down to.
Consistent with President Trump's instructions, all federal employees will shortly receive an email requesting to understand what they've gone. Yeah, we already covered this earlier, but failure to respond will be taken as a resignation. Understand what they've got done last week.
I'd call up, I'd say, listen, I'm really working here.
Is that because you don't want to be an echo chamber? Yes, I want to understand the other side. I do this all the time. That's why I have a concept called like hog watch. You know what I mean? I obviously, in order to better message to all Americans, you have to understand what like the Trump dick riders are thinking, why they like him so much, what is so captivating about him. God from fault. Thank you for the 10 community gifted subs. Deadly Tesseract, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. I think it's important to understand where the other side is coming from.
And Border Patrol, beautiful. And at the ultra-left CFPB, which was terrible. So many people have been hurt by that.
Hey, I'm just curious, but your fun day streams are always about politics. Isn't that basically the same as your regular streams? Much love, Hustle. Yes, obviously, when the president is currently speaking at CPAC, I think it's important to hear what he has to say. I'm a political commentator after all, so yes, I do start off with a little bit of politics on Saturday as well. It's a live speech, and then I move on to other shit.
I'm an Indian, she said. Could we see proof of that, please? She said, well, the only proof I have is my mother said I have high cheekbones. Oh, that's no good, right? Remember she went out? I really spooked her, I tell you. Remember she went out, she couldn't take it anymore. I was calling her Pocahontas, Pocahontas. Everyone knew she was not an Indian.
I really do think that, looking at, on a cursory glance of Asmongold's chat, it does make me feel like it's just purely entertainment. Like they just think he's fucking hilarious. You know what I mean? They just straight up think he's killing it. Like he's doing killer bits. That's it. I don't think there's a lot of interest in like the actual policy behind it. I don't think that there's any. I don't know if that's because of the way Asmongold covers it, because I'm unfamiliar with the way he covers Donald Trump. Maybe he just says like, oh, it's pure entertainment. It's pure entertainment. It's so funny. He's so based. Maybe that's the reason why the community is reflecting the opinion of the streamer in that regard. Or maybe it's because that is truly what they derive out of the Trump administration. Like they just think it's content. And I guess if you're like a stay-at-home NEET or whatever and not a fucking federal government employee whose job is on the line, then yeah, he is just entertainment. It's like the opposite side of the liberal part of the equation. The upper middle class liberal, professional managerial class liberals who don't have much to lose. And you're still this charitable to Asman in his chat? No, dude, I'm not a fucking idiot. And I want to understand where people are coming from. If you are going to be this resentful, and if you're going to operate on the notion that like me trying to make an assessment on what people like about Donald Trump is seemingly a bridge too far, and that I should be advocating to say that they're all fucking Nazis and they should immediately be sent to the gulags, like I don't know what to tell you, okay? I think it's very fucking important to understand why there is so much momentum in Trump's direction. Okay? If you don't understand it, then you can never address it. If you don't understand the problem, if you refuse to understand the problem, if you refuse to understand what this fucking dipshit's saying is, why that is like being perceived in such a positive way, then you'll never be able to solve this issue. Isn't a faulty premise to guess that people have any interest in policy? 99% of people are vibes only. I think so. I think there's a big part of that. I mean, look. There are a lot of people that simply don't vote for either party. There's a multitude of different reasons as to why they don't vote for either party. Obviously, the Electoral College plays a big role in this, but the inaction and the lack of the belief that people have that the Democrats are not really doing anything for them, or the Republicans are not doing anything for them, is plays a big role in this. Okay, but for the people that do vote, 80% of them vote simply for partisan reasons. Okay, at least that's what empirical evidence shows. 80% of people vote simply because their parents voted that way, simply because they've always voted that way. Yada yada yada. Okay. Then there's the 20% of people that vote for policy-related reasons. Okay? Policy-related reasons. And those 20% that vote for, I guess, or ideological reasons beyond policy. Or not beyond policy, but ideological reasons that pertain to policy. That's it. 20%. That's it. And there are a tremendous number of individuals out there that simply don't vote at all. So, of course, a lot of the people that do vote on partisan grounds, and it's simply team sport for them. And lo and behold, for many of those people that do go out and vote on purely team sport related reasons, yeah, the stakes are low for them. Both on the liberal side and the Republican side, both on the Democrat side and the Republican side, the stakes are low because they're in the upper crust, okay? They're in the top 10%. They have homes. They're older, right? They have their nest egg. When you start looking at who doesn't vote, you start to recognize that it's mostly poor people that don't vote. It's the most marginalized people in society that don't actually end up voting. You forgot about racism as well? No, I put racism into the ideological camp as well. Adrian is online. Thank you for the 10 gifted subs. I think it's interesting to understand. Yes, they're openly just consumers. Everything is content. It means nothing. Asman himself repeats how nihilistic his worldview is constantly. They want to sit at home and jack off the teenage anime girls with big boobs on their favorite video games, and acting that way is seen as a virtue. If Asman has an ideology, is hyper-hedonistic consumerism above all else. I mean, yeah. But it's not just Asman. I think it's just Americans in general. When they have nothing else, and the only thing they have is consumption of commodities, because that's what America is, then yeah, the things that you consume define you. Whether it be, teenage anime girls with big titties, or whether it be guns for many people, right? Because that's still a commodity. It's a very significant identity marker, and that's all political battles are basically fought on those boundaries. There is no real material impact. And that's how the team sports are defined, basically. And that's why you see a lot of liberals who would actively go after what kind of content you're consuming. You know what I mean? What kind of content you're consuming says a lot about your morality. Oh, you're watching the bad content and not the good content. That means like you're a bad person. All this stuff. It's completely meaningless. Okay?
Now we're bringing them down to 15% if you make your product in the United States of America. We're defending the American worker like never before, and that's why the auto workers and the union workers and the Teamsters and so many others, they supported us, the firemen, the policemen, so many others, whether they were union or non-union, they all supported us. They supported, it's called workers. They supported us at levels that nobody's ever seen before. Weeks ago, I imposed a 10% tariff on all goods coming from China. Because
people have both views of your viewers. It's nutty how perspective affects all that. What do you mean?
I'm not happy with Mexico, or I'm not happy with Canada.
You can't make voting compulsory in a country that doesn't have a federal holiday for voting. That's ridiculous. Americans, regardless of party affiliation, have both parties have always been very upset at the prospect of every single person having to vote. They don't want everybody to vote. Let's make no mistake. That's why you can't make voting compulsory in this country. That's why you can't even make it a fucking national, you can't make it even a federal holiday to go out and vote.
Very rich. I always say it's my favorite word in the dictionary. The word tariff is my favorite word in the dictionary. You know, we were the richest relatively from, think of this, from 1870 to 1913. That was our richest because we collected tariffs from foreign countries that came in and took our jobs and took our money, took our everything. But they charged tariffs, and we had so much money, they set up the 1887. Think of that, a long time ago. 1887 Tariff Commission. It was a commission of very important people to determine where we should spend all of the tremendous, vast wealth that we had. We had so much wealth. Wouldn't it be nice today? Of course, now we give it away to transgender this, transgender that.
Yeah,
Everybody
that's what's
gets
happening.
a transgender
Let's see how they react to that one.
Wonderful.
They took our jobs.
No, we give it away like
Based.
to crazy things. But in those days, it was different. It was a different world. It was a different
Keck
country.
W.
But we were
Lamau.
very rich because of
He
tariffs.
said it.
And I get myself in trouble because I say that tariff is my favorite word, and the fake news went crazy.
Yeah.
What about
It's like a flashbang, dude. It's like jiggling keys in front of a fucking baby. That's what it is. He just says transgender and everybody just lasers in on that, not realizing that he's like hyping up a time where there was like, until now, peak income inequality that led to absolute devastation, economic devastation. You know, we're talking about the Great Depression here under positive terms. Think about that. Like what led to the Great Depression and he's talking about that era as a positive when we unironically have more instability and more economic inequality now than we did back then.
The greatest, I rebuilt our entire military in the first term. We left a lot of it.
He could just be like, robber barons are so good. They're wealth providers and job makers. You are all servile. And everybody, and then as long as he ties it up with like, and transgenders, we're gonna kill them. Everybody be like, hell yeah, based. He's so funny. He said it.
When I see that, angry. When I see that, I get angry. We give them. I don't think anyone knows this. We give Afghanistan about $2 or $2.5 billion a year. Do you know that? For aid. We need aid ourselves. And I'm going to go back and I told
Deborah
them
loved that one. Deborah lost her mind at that. That Debrussy. Okay. The Debrussy is cackling.
Give us back our military equipment that they have. They're selling it. Doug, would you take that, please? All right. Write something up. No, I want them to give back. If we're going to give them that kind of money, let them give back the military equipment, which they have. Where they have tanks and trucks and guns and goggles. They have goggles. They have night goggles, better than we have, brand new right out of the box. It's unbelievable. So I want to do that, and I want if we're going to pay them, I want to get that equipment back, okay? Doug can do it. He's one of the guys. He's a business guy. To him, he's sitting there saying, how the hell did this ever happen, right? Can you believe it? We give them billions of dollars, and we gave them our military equipment. Just tremendous numbers of billions of dollars worth of military, billions and billions. We have a ceasefire in Gaza, and we're joined today by several survivors of the captivity under Hamas, including Noah Argamani and Ilana Gretovsky. Wow, look at that, how beautiful. What a beautiful group of people. Wow, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And you're sitting next to a great guy, Sebastian Gorka, who's also now in the administration. From day one, right, Sebastian? He's been a loyalist from day one. We love Sebastian. Thank you very much, Sebastian. Thank you, everybody. That's very nice. Beautiful. We're going to make it work somehow, you know. We're doing the best we can. We started, it should have never happened. That's the sad part. Would have never happened. If I were president, and I should have been, if I were president, it would have never happened. But it did, so we're doing the best we can with it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Also with us are family members of some individuals who are still hostages, and we will not rest until all of the hostages have been returned back home. Some of them are coming home in very bad condition, and some of them are coming home only as bodies. They're dead. We have a lot of them coming home now. They're dead.
They never cut from Trump,
people.
even when he's talking about other people. Every other production would cut away from him to show who he's talking about, but not here.
Like this, but they're dead. And the parents come to me and they say, please, sir, could you get my son back? How old is he, sir? My son is dead. It's important, just as important as if that son were alive, to get the body back. It's amazing, actually. Amazing. Just as important.
Yeah, I watched the hostage release earlier, which was crazy. The hostage release, Hamas not only has the drug that makes you dab up Hamas, they also now have a drug that makes you kiss Hamas. Yes, I saw that. They did it. They found even a newer drug. Previously, they had only unveiled their drug that makes you dab up Hamas. Now they got one that makes you kiss them. It's crazy.
A little glimmer of hope, and I say let them have that hope, right? Let them have that hope. But getting the body back is just as important as getting the son back healthy or the daughter back healthy. It's amazing to see when I see the level of intensity and love,
Elon Musk,
and sorrow and tragedy. As I said in my inaugural address, it's my hope that my greatest legacy will be as a peacemaker,
mind control techniques,
not a conqueror. I don't want to be a conqueror.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Under the Trump administration, every day brings more good news for America. I've ended all of the so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion
they don't believe
programs
it.
across the entire
they're throwing
federal
out
government
Kappas for when he said he doesn't want to be a
and
conqueror.
the private sector.
The left doesn't like the
and
word
notified
peace.
every single government DEI officer that their job has been deleted. They're gone. They're fired.
As soon as he swapped it over to DEI, they love it, though. As soon as they swapped it over to DEI, they love it. DEI is being deleted. Hell
United
yeah.
States government that there are only two genders, male and female. That was easy.
Oh, my God.
I banned men from competing in women's sports.
Based.
And I also proudly banned the use of...
It's just fucking, it's jiggling keys in front of a baby. Straight up. It's straight up
puberty
that.
blockers, hormone injections, and other chemical and surgical mutilation of your youth. Could you imagine making a speech like this 10 years ago? People would say, what the hell is he talking about, right? This is a sickness that came along with critical race theory and all of that.
Yeah, it's like the
other things that we had to put up with.
It is like the Family Guy clip where Lois Griffin is saying 9/11, but instead of 9/11, he's just going DEI, DEI. And then everybody goes, this is fucking amazing.
We've turned the heads of even the people that, if you can believe they're believers, I don't know if they were, but I believe that it's all gone. And I've directed the reinstatement of any service member who was expelled from the armed forces due to the COVID vaccine mandate. They will be returned to their former rank with full back pay. Full back pay. I banned government censorship from your voices and brought back free speech in America. We have free speech. We didn't have free speech. We do have it now, actually. Now, this was a very vicious regime, you know. I was put under investigation more so than the late, great Alphonse Capone, one of the great killers of the world. Trump, my father would look down my mother. How the hell did this happen to my boy? This was... No, I was under investigation at a far greater level than Al Capone or anybody else, probably in the history of our country. These people are sick. They're sick. They're bad people. I ended Joe Biden's weaponization as soon as I got in. I said, I'm going to hit him with the same stuff. But I ended his whole weaponization of our government and removed his hand-picked radical left Marxist prosecutors from the Department of Justice. I was so happy to do that. They weaponize government. They weaponize government. I pardoned hundreds and hundreds of Biden's political prisoners, including Christians, pro-life activists, and the J6 hostages who were treated terribly for years. We even got rid of people like Pete Buttigieg, who did the worst job of anybody in the history of transportation. What a bunch of losers. I revoked the security clearances of Anthony Blinken, Jake Sullivan, John Brennan, James Clapper, and every non-patriot who lied to cover up Hunter Biden's laptop from hell. We took away their security clearance.
How dare you? How dare you come after Pete, who kept all of the planes in the sky from falling like shooting stars? Okay? That's crazy. Pete Buttigieg protected us with his gay powers.
Secrets while selling themselves all around the world. Oh, well. Now, these were bad people. These were bad people. And because this should never be allowed to happen again. What happened to me in this administration, what happened on J6, what happened on all of the things they did that were so bad, should never, ever be allowed to happen again. And on a friendlier note, I renamed the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America.
What are they saying? W.
And we are restoring
Cinema.
the name of a great president, William McKinley, to Mount McKinley in Alaska. And as you know, many years ago, Jimmy Carter gave away the Panama Canal. And Panama started the process of giving the Panama Canal, by the way, the most expensive development ever in the history of our country, relatively. It would have been $1.5 trillion in today's dollars. 38,000 people died from our country building the Panama Canal. They died from mosquitoes and snakes. Think of it. They paid them 5 times their salary. They brought them to Panama, and they had a 25% chance of dying. They dug under nets so the mosquitoes wouldn't get them. But we lost 38,000, mostly men, laborers, construction workers, because it was such a harsh way to live.
What a president.
They died. 38,000. Again, it was the most expensive thing we ever built, and they gave it away
TDS
for
sufferers
$1
can't be
to
blamed.
Panama.
Their affliction prevents logical thought and reasoning. Sad they can't be helped from
Also,
themselves.
that's one of the most successful projects ever built in terms of money, monetarily. And it's the eighth wonder of the world. It connects two oceans, with one being 16 feet higher than the other. Think of it, the Pacific and the Atlantic. Think of what that is. You're going through dikes and canals. Amazing what they did. It was really a wonder of the world. We gave it away.
We're so cooked, dude.
But we didn't give it to China.
We're fucking cooked.
We didn't give it to China. We gave it to Panama. We're going to take back the Panama Canal.
It's over, dude.
In a matter of weeks, we have restored America's pride, America's confidence, and America's spirit.
Tell the truth, not enough hogs in your chat. That's why you need to look at Asmon's. Yes, this is 100% correct. Because back in the day, because Asmongold wasn't a political commentator, there wasn't a space for hogs to go to, so they would come here. And I think that was important in informing my perspective about like what they were paying attention to and what they were getting, like what they were focusing on. And now the hogs are gone. They all left because they want their own hug box. They want their own echo chamber. And it's ironically turned this community more into an echo chamber. And I don't like that. So now I'm looking at where the hogs are to try to fucking understand where they're coming from. I need to do this. Okay. I'm an anthropologist. Okay. I'm a hog here. I enjoy the seething. Amazing. See, this is what I mean. Thank you for being here. Please. This is a safe space for you. I promise. Okay. Why did you scare him off? I didn't. Like it's I don't think you guys understand the reason why I look at mostly right-wing content and cover mostly like right-wing fascinations is because I need to understand it better. I need to understand where they're coming from. I have commended him on being a turd brain wrangler for many years. That's why I never wanted him banned. When he's online, the chats are better across the board. It's kind of like Australia. Yeah, but I wish I'm fine with this not being I'm fine with this place being more chaotic. If that means we can develop a better understanding, if we can develop a better understanding of where right-wingers are coming from, what they actually enjoy, what they find good about Donald Trump, like then, I can be a more effective communicator.
Competence. Those days are over. They're over.
Careful what you wish for, bro.
But we cannot stop now. We're going to push forward every single day. In the immortal words of that great American hero.
This is your fault with our effective moderation?
Captain
no, not necessarily.
John Paul Jones, I have not yet begun to fight.
Do you think people will hate you if you talk to people like Asmongold? I don't give a shit, dude. People already hate me.
And neither have you.
People already hate me. Who cares?
So together for the next 4 years, we are going to stand strong. We are going to work hard. We are going to fight, and win, win, win. Thank you to CPAC. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Mercedes. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. God bless America. Thank you very much.
He won't. He won't.
God bless America. Thank you.
He's too much of a New York lib to hit the salute, dude. Okay? He's too much of a New York lib to hit that salute. I don't think what chuds like about Trump is any more complicated than what they liked about the school bully in middle school. I don't think a lot of people like the school bully in middle school.